Hi guys, it's Charles here with Charles Harrison Music. Most of my videos are guitar and piano based, but I am also a classically trained singer and brass player. I thought today I'd share with you some visualizations that I use to help people breathe better. Mainly people are interested in breathing to increase their range and get their high notes sounding better and higher. But your entire range will improve if you really focus on good form and technique. So to start with, let's talk about how to breathe, which seems a silly topic, but most people are a little bit confused by diaphragmatic breathing, as we call it. So I'm going to give you a couple of ways how you can think about this a bit better. The main issue, and I'm going to dive straight into it now, is that there are actually 3 steps to breathing, not 2. We think of in and out. There's a bit more to it than that, and let me explain. In order to benefit from breathing and sing higher notes or play higher notes on your instrument, the air needs to be coming out of you faster. Velocity and faster air equals higher notes. So how do we speed up our air when we're breathing? Well, it's this middle stage between the breathing in and the breathing out. So I've stood up so I can demonstrate this for you. The first step is breathing in fat. Now what I mean by this is, we've all done this where you look in the mirror and you try and make yourself look as fat as possible and you stick your stomach out. That is what you should be doing when you breathe air in. Imagine the air as a liquid. It's going to sink to your stomach first and it's going to move your shoulders last. Often people breathe in like this. That doesn't make any sense. Your shoulders shouldn't be going up, and that's unnecessary tension, both for brass players and singers. We don't want any tension in this area here. So we keep our shoulders relaxed, and if we need to, they will move right at the very end, but often you'll find that that's not necessary. But the tummy comes out. Some people find it's beneficial to lie on the ground on a hard floor and realise that their stomach should rise as they breathe in. Often, sometimes people's stomachs actually come in when they breathe in, and that's because they're lifting their shoulders up. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you. Please excuse my gut. So that's gone in. Now obviously I don't have a huge amount of movement, I'm pretty slim. So you can see there my stomach's coming out as I breathe in. The second step is how we speed this air up. Now I want you to visualise for a moment here an aerosol can. When they fill an aerosol can with liquid, the nice perfume, they then fill that can with air, which squeezes and squeezes and squeezes the liquid into a smaller space. They then shove a lid on the top, and the second you press that button, that liquid comes out with ferocious force, really, really fast. We can't fill our lungs with any more gas because we are now full, but what we can do is compress that air by now pulling that fat tummy in. Now when we pull our fat tummy in and we go skinny here, so like I said, we breathe in fat, we compress skinny. As you draw the tummy in, it forces the diaphragm muscle, which basically lives underneath your lungs and above your guts. It forces that diaphragm muscle against the bottom of the lungs. So the air, which isn't coming out yet, the lungs are smaller, therefore they're under more pressure. Finally, of course, you breathe out. So I'm going to do this little breathing routine for you so you can see this in action. And people forget this second step, and it's really, really important, because just breathing in, the air's not really being compressed at all. The second step, that compression, you're now able to get that air out a lot faster, and hopefully, if you are relaxed, that should translate into higher notes, either as a singer or a brass player. Breathe in fat. Breathe in fat. Compress. Breathe out. So that's the basics of diaphragmatic breathing, and you should always be breathing that way regardless of how high or low the notes are. This air supports your tone as well as your pitch, and you don't want to end up having some really powerful high notes either dynamically or tonally and the rest of your playing being a little bit flat. So the next visualization is regarding how the air actually exits your body. This is still suitable for singers and brass players. So I've made a cone with a piece of paper here. Now you could visualize this as a funnel is probably a better way to do it. But of course, there's a hole at the end there, and there's a big opening. Now, for singers, the hole is the entrance of your mouth. Okay, this is where the air leaves your body and comes out. And the big end here is your internal mouth and your throat and all that stuff, okay? Now, for brass players, of course, this shape probably looks pretty familiar because it is your mouthpiece. You have the big end here that you put your mouth on, and the little end there that leads into the lead pipe of your instrument. So what's a cone got to do with performing better? Well, imagine this for me. This is the visualization. If I was to get a pressure hose or something like that with a really fine stream of water, and I was to put that right in as far as I could and basically touch the inside of this hole, the water would spray right out. It wouldn't be inhibited by anything at all. However, if I pulled that same hose back a few inches and sprayed it against maybe the upper side here or the lower side, anywhere inside this funnel, what's going to happen is that water's going to spray around. We're probably just going to get a pretty pathetic drip, a dribble coming out now, which isn't great. So what this means for you as a singer, you need to be, we're calling this projection. You need to be sending the sound outwards. A lot of the time people are talking sounds like this and you can't really hear what people are saying. What you want to do instead of that is send the sound forward, send it out. Imagine you are talking to someone at maybe, I don't know, 20-foot distance. You can't shout to someone at that distance because you don't want to be shouting as a singer. That's going to be straining. So you're going to speak clearly, but send the sound to them. Of course, what we're thinking about as a brass player is we want to blow the air straight into the hole of our mouthpiece, straight down the lead pipe, and we don't want to be blowing into that rim of the mouthpiece against the edge of the funnel, because again, that air is losing all its speed in the mouthpiece and trickling down the lead pipe. Great visualization for brass players is to imagine a candle. If you had a candle right in front of your mouth, you could go, and it would probably at least flicker, if not go out. Now, if that candle's now at arm's length, you purse your lips and you really go for it. So a great thing to imagine is that you're just trying to blow a candle out at the other end of the room. If it's a tiny room, the other end of the next room, maybe 10 meters away, and send the air forward, straight, clear. Hold your instrument up, whichever instrument you're playing, hold it with good posture, and if it is a front-facing brass instrument, face it forward. Of course, if you've got a upwards-facing brass instrument or even a rear-facing brass instrument like the French horn, then you have to adjust where that candle lives. Singers, that's us done for today. I've got one more tip for brass players. However, if you've enjoyed this video so far, singers, please do like and subscribe. I love seeing that subscription number going up. I don't make any money from YouTube, but I do find it very rewarding seeing those numbers going up. Most teachers like to see that what they're saying is affecting people. So please do leave any comments or any questions if I've not been clear. Now, brass players, we've got a second method that we can compress the air. Remember, compression is just making that same amount of air travel through a smaller space. Well, the air starts in here and it ends in your instrument. It travels through the mouth, and we can actually use the tongue to reduce the size of the mouth, give a really, really small stream of air into the aperture, straight down the lead pipe, remember projection, and hopefully straight out the end of your instrument with a lovely tone. The way to do this is the tip of your tongue stuck behind the bottom teeth, like this. You'll notice as if I stick my tongue there and push it forwards and backwards, it's also going up and down. So it's really, really filling up that space. So you can experiment with tongue position. Now, you don't want to stick your tongue all the way forward so that you block the air, but of course, you'll find a sweet spot. And you can still, even though the tip of your tongue is stuck behind the bottom teeth, you can still say your tas and your cas and your das and all your different articulations that you've been practicing, just slightly further back in the tongue. Ta 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 ta. So you might need to practice that and get it a bit more percussive sounding, but it's really rewarding to see those notes going higher, and a little bit of articulation practice is a small price to pay. So that's the end of this short video here. If you enjoyed that brass players, and if there's any singers still watching, well done. Please do like and subscribe, and you can do that in the end screen. Please do give me any comments or questions that you'd like me to explain in other videos. I love hearing interaction from you guys, so keep that coming. See you in the next one then. Cheers.